Let's play while sitting at home. We invite you to participate in the traveling game Qazaq Quest and test your knowledge about your favorite city, learn new facts, be surprised, and have a laugh. 12 cities of Kazakhstan and celebrities who agreed to complete the quest. Brave and smart travelers, how much patience, strength, and knowledge they need to stay in the game. 1 city, 2 chances for a clue, 3 tasks, 4 blitz questions, and 5 most beautiful places in each city. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go! I visited Almaty in the first episode, the largest city in Kazakhstan and its former capital. I climbed the 3,200-meter pass, tried a one-day hike, visited the park which was renamed 7 times, saw a hotel for animals, and learned the secrets of the Kazakhstan Hotel, the first skyscraper of the USSR that was built in the high seismicity zone. I didn't immediately solve some of the tasks, but in the end I did it, and I think I'm ready for new adventures. Almaty is a very interesting city. There really is a lot of things to see, but all the guidebooks and local people tell me that the most beautiful places are still ahead, in Almaty region. Today I traveled to Almaty region, where a huge number of historical and cultural monuments as well as tourist destinations are concentrated. This is a unique land where you can see both the sandy desert and the snow-capped mountains in one day. I hope that the tasks will not be only fairly easy, but also quite picturesque. Almaty region is located between the ridges of the northern Tian Shan in the south, Lake Balkhash in the northwest, and the Ili River in the northeast, and in the east it borders with China. Almaty region is the most picturesque region of Kazakhstan. High mountains and endless steppes, blue lakes and sultry deserts make up the picturesque landscape of the nature of Zhatesu. The 7 main rivers from which the name of the region Zhatesu originated are Ili, Karatal, Bian, Aksu, Lepsi, Baskan, and Sarkand. The Saka tribes lived on this territory in the 1st millennium BC. Then the Western Turkic Khaganate was formed here in the middle of the 6th century. At the end of the 9th century, Zhatesu region became part of the Karakhanid state. And it was on these lands that the Kazakh Khanate arose in the 15th century. The Kazakh senior Jews settled here. The region is home to 5 national parks and 2 nature reserves. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The region occupies 8% of the territory of all Kazakhstan. The mountains of the Trenzali Alatau provide the region with crystal clear drinking water. I see that the landscape here is very diverse, and you can see it too, from a Forbes steppe to alpine meadows, behind which rise the peaks covered with eternal snow. The nature is just magnificent here. Beautiful. Hello, Nurgul. Hello. How are you feeling? Excellent. Cool. Are you ready for the first task? I'm always ready, because I have to be the winner in this program. First things first. So what is the task?
25 kilometers from here there is a town. It was founded 4 years later than Almaty. But next to it, you will find something really ancient. Go to the excavations of the old city and don't use your phone.
Are there many towns around Almaty? There are enough. These villages turned to towns and they still exist and are called Kaskelen, Tolgar, and Isik. Is there an old town next to one of them? Here is a small obstacle. As I said earlier, in the place of Almaty there was also an old settlement. People have always chosen convenient places to live, and therefore there are old settlements and excavations near each of their former villages. Wonderful GPS. Please build me a route to Tolgar. By the way, you will have to complete this task yourself. If you're lucky and you can get to the second location, another expert will meet you there. Okay, deal. Good luck. The village of Sofiskaya was founded in 1858 and was renamed Tolgar 1919. The population is about 50,000 people. In the mountain outskirts of Tolgar, there are many objects for tourism and active recreation. Sports and recreation complexes, ski resorts, climbing and tourist camps, rest houses, and campings. The pride of the Tolgar region is the Ili Alatau State National Natural Park. The majority of its plant species are listed in the Red Book of Kazakhstan. The Tolgar River originates in the Tolgar Glacier. It is formed by the confluence of the left Tolgar and right Tolgar rivers and then flows into the Kapchagai Reservoir. And if you raise your head, you can see the highest point of the Trenzili Alatau, the Tolgar Peak. Its height is 5,000 meters. Well, to be precise, 4,979. So I can't choose the phone, and the expert didn't come with me. What should I do? I will find the route in the old-fashioned way. I'll ask the locals. Let's go. Hello, how are you? Is everything well? Yes. Do you live here? Yes. As a local resident, can you answer a couple of my questions? I heard that there is an old city in Tolgar. Can you tell me where it is? How to get there? You go straight from here. Down this street? Yes. How long to go straight down the street? 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer. What was the old city called before? Tolgar had an old name, right? Talkiz. Talkiz. Do you often go there yourself? Yes, we go there often. Would you like to go with me? Leave your job. Thank you. What is your name? Nasser. Nasser, thank you very much. So, I go there, right? Well, I will go then. The history of Tolgar, according to archaeologists, goes back centuries. The first mentions of the city appeared in 982 AD, when it bore the name Talkiz. At that time, the famous Silk Road passed here. Archaeological excavations allowed to establish that the city began to form in the 8th, 9th centuries, and its most intensive development fell on the 10th, 13th centuries. Bazaars, pottery and glass-blowing factories, blacksmiths and jewelry workshops operated here. Metalworking, pottery, glass, bone carving, and construction were developed. In addition, the excavations showed that the residents of the city were engaged in arable farming and cattle breeding. As a result of international trade along the Great Silk Road, luxury goods and jewelry from distant countries came to the city. This kind of trade required a lot of money, and it is not surprising that many copper and silver coins were found during the excavations of Tolgar. Most of them were minted in Central Asia. The mound was included in the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2014. However, by that time, the road was already under construction, which the designers managed to lay straight through the center of the monument. Only with the help of public resonance, the city was defended. Now the settlement is located on the basis of the Issyk Museum, and archaeological groups are sent there for research. The museum has installed fences along the borders, resolves issues of diverting water supply and power lines passing through the settlement. Instead of the previously used road that passed through its territory, a dirt road was built bypassing the monument. Unfortunately, the entrance to the settlement is closed, but we can look at it from a bird's eye view.
Turumuz өкінішке орай жабық, сондықтан да сіздер барлығын жоғарыдан көретін боласыздар.
I hope I came to the right place.
Congratulations! You found the ancient city and solved the problem. but you disobeyed me by picking up the phone. To consider this task completed, I'll give you one more riddle to solve. And if you guess it, you can go to the second location. If not, you'll go by foot to the next city, and it is 500 kilometers away. I will tell you a legend. The Great Silk Road was not the safest place. On the way, merchants could face robbers and natural disasters. One caravan was walking along the tract on the outskirts of the river, and at that moment an earthquake occurred. Huge boulders from the steep cliffs began to slide into the water and formed a ferry across the river. People took it as a blessing of the gods and carved images on the stones. Whom did the saved people portray, and where exactly?
Just a second. Am I allowed to use any equipment? Qazaq Quest, can you please give me information on the Great Silk Road? The Great Silk Road is the most ambitious trade route known to mankind, connecting East and West. It contributed to the formation of many unique cities, historical monuments, customs, and even states. Goods along the Great Silk Road went mainly from east to west, and as the name suggests, silk was the top item on the list. For example, monks from India brought their knowledge to China. From Iran, they brought pagan teachings. People of different religions, Manichaeans, Buddhists, Christians, and Muslims lived in the medieval cities of Kazakhstan, which stood along the Silk Road. The most interesting thing, all of them spoke the same language. Therefore, I can assume that this is the Ili River, and the images on the stones are associated with Buddhism.
Congratulations on your answer. It is the Buddhist deities that are depicted on the stones in the valley of the Ili River.
The Ili River originates in China, but 56% of the river is located in Almaty region, and it is one of the largest rivers in the country. It is on the Ili River, near the city of Kamchagai, that there is a unique cultural monument of past centuries, rock carvings of Buddhas. They are called written stones or red rocks, and local residents call this tract Tamgali Tas, which means stones with sacred signs. It is not known when and under what circumstances the images appeared on the huge stones that broke away from the rocks. There are only legends and assumptions. In this place, along the river once passed a section of the Great Silk Road. Along this path, together with trade caravans, pilgrims from northern Tibet went to worship the Buddhist shrines of Bukhara, Samarkand, and Afghanistan. Now, Tamgali Tas, as a cultural monument, is under the protection of the government of Kazakhstan and is an open-air Buddhist temple, which is evidenced by the sign at the entrance to the tract. By the way, I read that the new Silk Road program is being implemented. Under the umbrella of this program, new roads are being built, trade ties are being established, and infrastructure is being created. Rock paintings are not uncommon in Almaty region. The largest and most studied collection of petroglyphs of Kazakhstan, Tamgali, is included in the UNESCO World Heritage List. It is located in the Anrakai Mountains, 170 kilometers away from the city of Almaty, and there are no analogues to this monument in the whole world. Petroglyphs are concentrated in the canyon of the Tamgali or Tanbali tract, on the walls of which over 3,000 drawings have been preserved. The picturesque gorge is adorned with rock paintings of past civilizations, many of which are about 3,500 years old. Tamgali's composition is very unique. There are images of monsters dressed in animal skins with bent hooked arms, courageous warriors with clubs and battle axes. Many scientists of the world are trying to unravel the secrets of the Tamgali petroglyphs. They suggest that all these drawings are related to the ancient cult of the sun, which reigned in those days on the territory of Eurasia, and in part influenced the formation of modern religions, Buddhism, Islam, and Christianity. I read that Tanbali area is an open-air temple of Tengriism. Tengriism as a doctrine had a huge impact on the culture, customs and traditions of the Kazakhs. Tengriism is a set of ideas about the world, about life, which existed among the Kazakhs and other Turkic people long before they were converted to Islam. One of the most interesting and controversial images, a creature with a head like the sun riding on a mammoth. Modern people are inspired by these images. For a long time, the sun-headed god was the symbol of the international singing competition held in Almaty, Aziya Dausi, or the Voice of Asia. Scientists believe that the image represents the Tengri deity, or shamans, during the ceremony. There is even a version that the image of a sun-faced person is nothing more than an alien in a spacesuit. And that sounds convincing. Although Aidyn has little time to complete all the tasks, he couldn't drive past the ski resort and, of course, the famous Talgar trout. This is the ski resort. As you yourself noticed, the nature here is magnificent. In winter, you can go skiing and snowboarding. What can you do in the summer? You can go in for sports and yoga. But I don't have time to do yoga because I need to move on. But you are welcome to admire this nature and have fun. To be honest, I have been living in Almaty for many years, but until now I haven't had a chance to fish. However, since I'm the winner, I can go out and fish for lunch. Have you ever visited a cafe where fish is prepared for you after you have got it yourself? In a trout farm, you have to catch the fish yourself. If I'm lucky and I catch a fish, then there will be something to eat. Wish me good luck. Well, dear viewers, I managed to catch a fish. On the one hand, it was not easy, but now I will have a fried fish for lunch. Look, the fish is big, right? It wants to sail away from me. It is as strong as I am. It turns out that I'm a good fisherman. And what a taste! You can swallow your own tongue. It tastes unbelievable. Well, I'm ready to move on to the second task. What do we have here?
In Soviet times, this place was called Kazakhstan's Ritsa. It could be reached from Almaty by a regular bus that departed every half hour. The most important guests of the country were brought there. However, in 1963, something happened that almost destroyed the place. Now, 57 years later, this place is still beautiful, although it has lost its original scale. Good luck in your search for Kazakhstan's Ritsa.
I was hoping the riddles in this episode would be easy. Each time it gets harder and harder. Ritsa, huh? Ritsa is a lake. Hence, one might think that the riddle is about a lake. I read that there are several large lakes in Almaty region, and all of them are popular among tourists. After all, the climate in this part of Kazakhstan is sharply continental, and in summer it gets very hot. Therefore, I would love to freshen up on a hot day. But are these lakes suitable for swimming? We'll find out now. The closest to the city is Big Almaty Lake. It is located 15 kilometers south of Almaty at the altitude of 2,510 meters above sea level. Like the vast majority of the Tian Shan lakes, it arose as a result of earthquakes. Originally, it was called Joly because of the slopes of reddish rocks that descend into the lake. Since the water from the lake is drinkable and goes straight to the homes of Almaty residents, swimming in the lake as well as picnics on its territory are strictly prohibited. But this does not make the lake less popular. In addition, not far from Big Almaty Lake, there is a space station and an observatory, from where you can enjoy a beautiful view of the starry sky. Or you can climb even higher and enjoy the view of the city from the Big Almaty peak. The next one is Lake Issyk. It is a lake in the Issyk Gorge, located on the territory of the Ile-Alatau State National Natural Park. Its height is 1,756 meters above sea level. According to geologists, it was formed about 8 to 10,000 years ago as a result of a grandiose rock collapse, which created a natural dam about 300 meters high. Initially, the depth of the lake was 50 to 79 meters. The water in the lake is mountainous and cold and is not suitable for swimming. 300 kilometers from the southern capital, there are high mountainous lakes Kolsai and Kayindi. People call Kolsai lakes the pearl of the northern Tian Shan. The natural monument includes 3 lakes, Sati, Menjilgi, and Upper Kolsai. The depth of the lakes reaches 80 meters, so even in the hottest day the water is cool, about 10 degrees Celsius. Useful information. There are guest houses near the lakes and you can even go fishing. There are trout in the lakes. And from the uppermost lake, it is very close to Kyrgyzstan. From the pass, there opens an excellent view of Issyk. Lake Kayindi amazes everyone who comes here. Real fir trees rise from the depth of the lake. The lake itself was formed recently, thanks to the 1911 earthquake. Due to strong tremors, stones fell from the mountains and blocked the course of the river. The gorge and the age-old Tian Shan spruces growing in its slopes were flooded with water. This is how nature created this beautiful lake at the altitude of 1,800 meters above sea level. Divers fell in love with the lake because underwater they discover an incredibly beautiful world. Another lake where Almaty residents go on vacation is Kapchagai. And perhaps this is one of the few places suitable for swimming. The reservoir appeared in 1970 to regulate the flow of the Ili River, as well as for irrigation, tourism, and fishing. There are legends that they caught catfish up to 3 meters long and weighing more than 100 kilograms in Kapchagai. There are all conditions for great rest: hotels, restaurants, a water park, and fishing villages. It is located just 80 kilometers from Almaty and can be reached very quickly by the new concrete road. The beautiful mountain lakes of Kazakhstan appeared due to earthquakes. But what can reduce them in half? I suspect that it has something to do with natural disasters too. Wait a minute. It's Lake Issyk. I will not waste my time. I will go there right away. The lake in the Issyk Gorge of the Transli-Alatau is located about 40 kilometers east of Almaty, near the city of Issyk. You can get there from the bus station, which you can see behind my back, by taking a minibus or a taxi. Now 39,200 people live in the city, and the distance from the city to the lake is about 12 kilometers. Lake Qazaq was formed about 8 to 10,000 years ago as a result of a grandiose mountain collapse. There has never been a fish in the lake, however, the nature around the lake surprises with its diversity. The lake of incredible beauty has always attracted people. Scientific expeditions were sent there. Guests of the capital were brought here as well. In 1939, a campsite began operating on the shore of the lake. In 1959, the Qazaq Lake Park with a hotel and a restaurant was opened. A wide asphalted highway was laid to the lake. The bus station worked. Every summer, thousands of people rested in the vicinity of the lake. The image of the lake was printed on postcards and tourist brochures.
You were right when you suggested that the lake was affected by a natural disaster. On July the 7th, 1963, a mud flow from the upper reaches of the Qazaq River, Mount Zhasybai, destroyed a natural dam in the western part of the lake, devastating the reservoir. The mud flow claimed about 1,000 lives and caused significant destruction in the town of Qazaq. Many years have passed, but the lake hasn't been restored.
So it turned out that it was not a mud flow after all that brought world fame to Qazaq, but one discovery. All the information about the excavations will be told by the researcher of the museum, Jazira Kurbanali Qazaq. When and where was the Golden Man found? The Golden Man was found in 1969-70 in one of the Qazaq burial mounds. The Golden Man was found by Kamel Akishev, and Bekmukambat Nurmukambatov was the first to touch the remains of the Golden Man. As far as I know, he was not found in the middle department. Where was he found? Yes, you're right. He was buried in the grave 60 meters in diameter and 6 meters in depth. Inside the grave, there was a burial chamber built from the trunks of fir trees. That is, on the side of the mound, meaning on the edge of it. It is known that the central burial ground was robbed. In addition to the man himself, perhaps there were some other objects found. Tell us about them. Yes. I think I saw them there. Yes, more than 30 fragments of earthenware, wooden utensils and silver bowls were found near the Golden Man. In addition, a bronze mirror was found, and also stone white beads. Subsequently, the people who discovered these items spread a rumor that that was a woman. But then they realized that the Golden Man was male. Thanks. Let's go to the other sector. If I'm not mistaken, these are the rings of the Golden Man. Yes, with the Golden Man, 2 rings were found, a seal ring and a mirror ring. If you look at this ring, you can see your reflection in it. It can be concluded that the Golden Man belonged to the high class of the Saka times. It can be seen that the jewelry art was at a high level, and the silver vessel was found next to the remains of the Golden Man. In those days, people in power carried such vessels with them. Its importance lies in the fact that there were 26 written signs on the vessel. Scientists are still studying the meaning of these inscriptions. Have they deciphered the inscriptions? Not everything has been deciphered yet. And yet we stopped at the words of Altai Amanjalov. This hearth is for you. Stranger, take a seat. May the people have a lot of prosperity. That is, wherever we are in a hurry, having come to someone's house, in any case, we will sit down. This shows respect for this house and for the people living in it. Similarly, these words speak of respect for the graves. These signs are also called Qazaq written signs. Jazira, this is a copy of the Golden Man, isn't it? Yes, you can say this is one of the last copies of Krim Altenbekov. You can find it in other museums as well. Great! Tell us about the clothes of the Golden Man.
Жалпы алтын адамның басынан аяғына дейін 4000-нан астам алтын әшекейлер
Over 4,000 golden elements were found on the Golden Man.
орналастырылды.
Speaking of the headdress, there are over 150 golden pieces. The headpiece is divided into 3 parts: Heavenly World, Earth, and Dungeon World. An argali is depicted on the top of the headdress. According to the Sakas, it symbolizes the upper world and is also a symbol of power.
Ал мына жерде құстың бейнесі бар, барыстың бейнесі бар.
The pointed headdress is decorated with golden plates and plaques depicting horses, leopards, mountain goats, birds, and trees.
Әлемі, яғни еркіндік.
Around the neck there is a golden torque with tips in the shape of a tiger's head.
Ол сақтардың дәрежелік белгісі, барыстың басынан басталған, барыстың аяғымен аяқталған 3 тізбек алқа.
What about weapons? There were weapons too. This proves that the Golden Man was a warrior. That is, a whip and a saber. The whip means he was a skilled rider. I wanted to ask about the ring. I guess it is a seal, if I'm not mistaken. It is called the seal ring. According to some reports, the Saka especially revered the sun god, Mitra. This particular god is depicted on the ring. And who had access to the seal? Only kings. This means that such a ring in the form of a seal could have been worn by a prince. Is there only one horse on the front of the Golden Man's headdress? This horse is our pride and a symbol of our independence. Moreover, it is a loyal friend of our people. And your next assignment is directly related to this animal. Wonderful! It seems that another task has come to me.
A folk wisdom says, the unlucky horseman is rescued by a lucky horse. The horse is the most revered animal in Kazakh culture. Many people think that horse riding is the most important thing in horse culture. But do you know how to care for an animal and show it the respect it needs? There is such a place near Almaty, but this is not an ordinary stable. Here they teach how to respect these stately animals. Find this place and complete the task there.
Yes, I understand the task. Jazira, thank you very much. Have a good day. Good luck. The Qazaq burial mound is considered one of the largest monuments of the Scythian Saka period, one of the greatest discoveries of the 20th century. The monument dates back to the 4th century BC. The mound itself is located on the southern outskirts of a large burial ground which consists of more than 40 mounds. The diameter of the mound is 60 meters, the height is 6 meters. There are 2 burials under the embankment, central and lateral. The central grave was completely robbed. The side one was not disturbed. The funeral armor of the young man decorated with ornaments is of great value. The Saka dagger, Akinak, is recognized as a masterpiece of the animalistic style. 21 animals, a wolf, a fox, a mountain sheep, an antelope saiga, a rabbit, a snake, and others are depicted on the golden plate on both sides of the dagger. At the southern wall of the mound stood wooden dishes, with 4 dishes in 2 rows in the background. Nearby, in the foreground, were bowls and a ladle. On the other wall, earthenware jugs are lined up close to each other, and in front of them, there are bowls. A mirror and a comb were found in the warrior's personal belongings, and therefore, one of the versions of the archaeologists was that this was a girl. But later, experts came to the decision that the Saka warrior was a young man, about 16 to 17 years old. The Kazakh culture is closely related to the worship of horses. From time immemorial, both the old man and the small child who had barely learned how to walk knew how to sit on a horse. The horse has always been considered not only as a means of transportation, but also as a friend and even a partner. Scientists believe that it was in the Kazakh steppe that the horse was first tamed. Horse breeding in Kazakhstan is one of the fastest growing livestock sectors. More than 13 horse breeds are grown in Kazakhstan. A lot of sports games are associated with horses. For example, Qazaq is still an indispensable attribute of various holidays. The rules of Qazaq are as follows. Upon a signal, a girl starts galloping. A horseman rushes in pursuit of her on his horse. If he catches up, he gets a prize. He will kiss the girl at a gallop. It often happened that if the girl liked the horseman, she would deliberately hold her horse back without showing it to the audience. But if he didn't manage to catch up with the girl on the way back, she could whip him with kamshi. Today I have to ride a horse. Although I grew up in the city, I can sit on a horse confidently, so it was a vain attempt to intimidate me. Qazaq Quest. Let's go! People who knew about horses were popularly called sinshi. They were contracted when people wanted to choose a good horse. Be sure to consult with them when preparing horses for the races. The sinshi were also called albegi, atsiis, or babker. Now the coaches play the role of sinshi. Dear viewers, a real expert, Maria will help me today. Hello, Maria. Hello. We'll start by learning how to handle a horse in general before doing any stunt tricks, and generally how to sit in the saddle. Therefore today, I will show the routine of our day, which each horse goes through in our stable. Actually, I thought I would saddle the horse straight away, but it turned out differently. Let's start. Come on, here is our horse. Her name is Koberlin. Koberlin? Yes, she is Dutch, warm-blooded. She's very tall and big. You should always remember that a horse weighs 500 kilograms. We need to be attentive to her. Now, let's put her here. A huge horse. And in order to wash the other side, you can walk under her neck to the other side and wash that leg. Well, here the horse felt that I wanted to wash its feet and asked me to do it with this second leg. So you have to meet it halfway. See, it is even lifting its leg, as if enjoying it. Since we took the horse out of this stable, sawdust clogged in its hooves. We'll need to clean them. And we'll need to clean them from sawdust like this. This is a trained animal, of course. Therefore, it immediately raises its leg. Here, you need to clean it like this. After you care for the animal, you need to feed it, which is what I want to do now. And you are more than welcome to enjoy this pleasant sight. Today I had a lot of adventures. I visited Lake Qazaq, I found the excavations of the ancient settlement and even washed a horse. It's scary to think what is waiting for me next and where I will go. But Qazaq Quest is not for cowards. Follow my adventures in other cities of Kazakhstan and I will try to make sure it will be interesting for you.
Ал әзірше сау болыңыздар.